Hello and welcome back to Coding with T. Today we are going to learn how to design order screens in which we are going to first display a list of orders, and after that we are going to see the order details including customer information, order information, list of all items, etc. So first of all, let's quickly have a look what we are going to achieve. Okay, we are inside our project which is Coding with T, and this is the link you can get, and also you can use by yourself using credentials already provided. Link is in the description from the codingwitht.com. Okay, we are inside the dashboard, and also if you remember, while creating the dashboard we learn how to get all the recent orders like this. We have a page ignition over here, and kind of same thing we are going to implement today in the orders. So let's click on it. We are inside the order screens, and inside at the top, first of all, we have a breadcrumb. Then we do not have any new option currently to add new order, but definitely admin can add new order. If you want, you can add that form over here or a button for that form. Then we have a search. We can search the IDs. Let's say we are going to search for F2. So you can see this is the ID that we can search. So this is how we can search the orders. Okay, if I am going to open any order, so let's click on this one. First of all, we have the order number at the top. We have a page ignition. This is the detail screens. This is the orders and dashboard, back arrow, then order information. This is the date of the order, when the order placed, number of items in the order, status is pending. We will create a drop down here, and each drop down will have its own colors. So let's say I'm going to change this pending order to processing. You can see it's loading state and it's processing, status updated. Although this is inside the backend tutorial, so we'll cover that in the backend, but just for the purpose of demonstration, we have a status, then we have total amount, and down below we have items, list of items, subtotal, discount, pricing, shipping, etc. Everything will go over here. Then we have a total price, transactions, payment by PayPal. You can use cash on delivery, any other payment method, PayPal fee, date, total, and then we have a customer on the right side with its picture, name, email, contact person, shipping address, billing address, or currently we do not have those addresses over here, but definitely we are going to collect that. So this is what we are going to design in today's tutorial. So let's get started. We are creating Flutter e-commerce admin panel, and we have already completed all the previous sections in which we learn all the concepts, added the backend, designed the media, work with the media backend. But now we are almost done with the designing of all the screens for our e-commerce admin panel. And the next screen, which is the static screens, is the last screen. And after that, we are going to move towards the backend. And once the backend is completed, we will deploy this application on our Firebase hosting. So let's get started with today's tutorial. If you're new, you can again watch all the content or complete course from the link down below in the description. You can also watch the e-commerce app playlist link in the description, and you can download both app and admin panel. Link is also in the description. So let's get started with today's tutorial. Okay, we are inside our e-commerce admin panel, and here let's go to the shop features. In the screens, we have to create this order screens. So we have two screens. The first one is all orders, then we have order details. So if we first talk about the all orders, open this. First of all, we have orders.dart, in which we are going to use the T site template, which is going to handle desktop, tablet, and mobile layouts for us. We just have to provide the orders desktop screen, tablet screen, and mobile screen. So let's go to the desktop screen first, which is inside the responsive screens, desktop, mobile, and tablet. So first one is the desktop. It is same layout. I'm again just going to save the time. I am going to show you all the code, but we just have to demonstrate it because already we have created same things again and again. So this is a scaffold. Then inside single child scroll view to scroll the content. Then we have a padding for the page padding or screen side padding. Then in the column first goes the breadcrumbs. Heading is orders. Breadcrumb items is orders list, or you can say only one item orders. If you're new, you can also watch breadcrumbs with headings. Once again, we have created each and every widget in the previous tutorials without skipping anything. All the logic and all the features or all the reusable widgets are already created. So make sure to watch the previous videos, and I hope you will not get confused. After that, then we have the T-rounded container to add the white background and rounded radius. Then we have a column. First goes the table header. Show left widget is false because in the previous tutorial we had added one more boolean over here, because we have two things inside our table header. The first one is the left side button, which is this one, which has on press, and most of the time it has add new brand, add new category, add new product kind of thing. So in the customer and in the order screen, we do not have that button. So we are not creating new orders by the admin. We are also not creating a new customer by the admin. If you want to create those things, you just do not have to pass anything, because by default left button is visible. You just have to pass your own button text and on press for that button and it will work. Then on the right side we have a search bar. After the table header we have some space and orders table. Same is for the mobile design and also for the tablet design. Then let's talk about the table. Table's name is, or the class name is OrderTable, extend with the stateless widget. It is going to use the TPaginatedDataTable. So this is the widget that we learn to create in detail. We learn simple tables, data table 2, paginated data table 2, and at the end we created our widget, which is something like this. It is going to handle all the designing for us. We just have to provide minimum width and some other backend functionalities, which we will do in the backend videos. Then in the columns, we have first column for the order ID, then for the date, items, status, amount, and action. But for the status, if you see, we have a fixed width variable over here. In the fixed width, what we are going to check, if this is a mobile screen, then we are going to give it fixed width of 120, because we do not want to, because status is a drop down, so we do not want to go minimum than 120 in the mobile design, because in the mobile the table minimum width will reduce to 700, and if we fix this one, remaining will be divided to rest of the columns. And also we have a fixed width 100 over here for the actions. So 600 will be divided over here, but in the mobile 120 will be taken by the status and the remaining will go for these four columns. Then all the source or the order rows inside this class, or you can also go it from here, table source or dart. First of all, let's talk about these four widgets. Okay, inside order rows, it is a simple class extending with the data table source, because we learned that to create paginated data table, we have to provide a separate table source. And to use this table source, we have to override these four functions. First one is to get row. It is going to provide the index, so we can design our rows inside this function. This is to check that if row count is approximate, this is a row count actual, and this is selected row count. So if 0 row count is selected, 10 dummy rows, this one is false. And to design the get row, let's open it. And first and foremost, we have the order table which we want to display. For the real scenario, we are going to have the list over here, which is order model or the list of order models. But in this case, we do not have the list. Just for the one record, I have created a dummy order model. And in the ID, we have a simple ID. Status is pending, total amount is 365, and order date is now. So items empty. Next, to design the row, we are going to use data row 2, and on tap is going to take us to the edit screen or actual order detail screen, in which we want to see the detail order. Whenever this row is going to be selected is false by default. On selected, change is not doing anything. Then mainly we have cells. So cells should be the data for the columns. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cells, as we have 6 columns. First column is going to contain the order ID, which we are going to be search in the backend. Then we have the second cell for the order date, then number of items. Then we have the status data cell over here. You can also, because you see I am creating a complete widget inside the data cell, which is TRoundedContainer, you can create your own drop down over here and change the status right away without going into details. So you can do that. It's up to you. But for the design, we are going to display the order status like this. We have a helper function which is going to get the background color of the order. We have to pass the order value. Let's say the order status is pending. We will return the blue color because we are returning over here. Inside thelper functions, make it static so that you can directly call thelper functions dot get order status color. So by this way, we are going to return the specific color which is needed. Background color will be with opacity 0.1, and the main text color will be without opacity, which will be taken from this function again. Then we have the order amount. The last cell is about action. We are again going to take the view icon button instead of the edit icon button. So edit is false. We do not want to see the edit icon. We want to see the view icon. On view press will take us to again to the order detail screen. On delete is not going to do anything, so widgets are empty. But this way order screen is now completed. Let's try to run this inside the Chrome. So we are inside our dashboard, and down below we did not added the orders in the sidebar. So for that we have to go to the routes. First of all, in the routes, make sure you have orders and order detail screens. This is actually the type of URL that we are going to use. Then in the app routes, we have to define the screens over here. So for the orders, we have get page, name will be troutes.order. When this one is selected, we will display the order screens, and if this one is selected, we will display the order detail screens. So both screens are created. Make sure you have created these screens, and then go to common widgets in the layouts, open sidebar.dart. After the customers, let's create the orders. Same, use the T menu item. Route is orders now. Icons is icons Xbox, and item name is orders. Now let's save it. Now you can see we have the orders section over here with an icon and name orders. Click on it, and we can see our breadcrumb. Then we have the white T-rounded container, search, and all the values over here. If you remember that for the dashboard, we created some dummy data to be displayed like this. So let's go to the orders and let's replace this dummy data with that data. Okay, to get the dashboard data, we have to create the controller, get.put dashboard controller to create a new instance of that controller. And we are going to remove this dummy controller, and to get the current order controller dot orders, I think let's check it inside. We have the orders, but it is static. Okay, so we do not need to create even the instance because we have a static list. So let's cut it from here. To get the current order, we just have to call the dashboard controller dot orders because it is a static instance, and from that list we just have to pass the current index, which is over here inside this function. So based on that, we will loop through all the orders. So let's refresh it. Okay, our application is now running and giving error index out of range. Okay, so we have a row count 10 because previously it was static, but now we have to use the exact count dashboard controller dot orders dot length. So this length is going to tell to this widget that you have to run this much of index. Let's say we are going to provide the 5 as length, then it is going to run this index as 5 times. If we give 10, 20, so it is going to run the index as much time as the row count. So let's refresh it again. Let's open the code, and you can see we have 5 items being displayed with the different IDs, date, items are 0, processing, amount, and this. And now when we are going to click on any of that, we want to open the order detail screen. So let's first design it. Let's go to shop screen again, go to orders, but this time we're going to talk about the order details. In the order detail.dart, first of all, we are going to get that specific order using get.arguments, because if you see the table source, whenever a single row is going to be clicked from here, or the view icon is going to be clicked, the same way we are going to get towards the order detail screen using get.toName order detail screen. And in the order detail screen, we are receiving or passing the actual order which we have over here. So if you want to use this approach, you just have to pass the order, and this screen is going to be triggered. So inside the screen, we're going to get that data using get.arguments because we are passing the arguments from here. There is another way. If you watch the previous section about navigation, then you already know the difference between arguments and parameters. Parameters are going to be displayed in the URL. So if I'm going to pass the order as a parameter like this, then I have to receive that order as a parameter again. So if you see, this parameter is a type of JSON. It is a type of map, string, and string. It is not exactly a JSON, so we cannot pass any data. Rather, we have to pass the map of type string and string. So this order is a type of model. We have to convert it. So that is the only way we can use the parameters. And if I'm going to make it to JSON, you will see that the type map of string dynamic, because it is JSON now, cannot be assigned to map of string and string. So you have to make sure that whatever the value is inside that order should be in the string. So we have to map it that way to use this. Or there is one more thing, we have to pass order.id. Now that ID is going to be displayed inside the parameters. So let's create it like this. Now this order ID, we have to pass the key order ID, and that will be the value. So this is the key, this is the value, and this is how we can pass the parameters. Now the parameter can be seen using the order ID, but based on this order ID, we are not fetching orders. So that's why we're not going to display that. So let's save it. And if we get back to the order details, and over here we have to now get the order ID. We have to call the get.parameters, and as a key we have to provide the same key which we just passed, order ID, and then we will able to get the order ID. So this is how it is going to work. And now based on that order ID, we have to fetch the data from the Firebase. Most of the time in the large applications, we are going to use that approach. Okay, for now, we have received the order. We pass that order for the desktop, tablet, and mobile screen, whichever is being displayed by the site template. So we have passed the order to all of them. Let's talk about the desktop screen. We receive that order over here. And first of all, we have a scaffold single child scroll view to scroll the content, page space or the padding from the page from all the sides. Then we have a column. First one is the breadcrumbs with the return to previous icon so that we can see the previous or the back arrow to go back to the previous screen. Then for the body, we are going to use the row. If you see this design, let me click on it. And over here, you can see we have a row over here. Okay, first of all, we have a row which is going to cover the complete box, and inside that row we have two columns. This is the first one, this is the second one. So this column is going to take double space as compared to the column on the right side, and on the right side we have four widgets, and on the left side this column contains three widgets. So we are going to design them. First of all, let's create a row in the body, and that body is going to be divided into two sections. The left side order information and the right side with the user information. So you can see both are using expanded so that we can make the design responsive, and to make the left side column to take double space as compared to this one, we just have to pass the expanded flex as 2 so that it can take the double space as compared to the other children for this row. So for the left side as a column, we have three widgets. The first widget is order row, order information, then some space, then we have order items, then again some space and order transaction. For the right side, we have order customer, and all the four widgets are inside this order customer. So first of all, let's see the order information, and you can also see we are going to pass that same order to the order information which we received over here. And now this widget order information has that specific order which is selected. And the first thing is T-rounded container, which is this one, which is the white box and a rounded container and a small shadow. Then inside that we have to create a column. First one is in the column is the heading, and then we have a row which is going to display these four items. So we have a column, we have a heading over here with a space, and then we have a row. Then in the children we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 expandeds, again to make the design responsive, and they are equal sized because flex is 1 for all of them. Then as a child, we have a column again. First one is the title, which is text. Then we have the formatted date, then items, or items length, or the number of items in the order. Then we have the drop down button over here. And the last one is the text, total, and order total amount. To see the drop down button, we have a flex property. And if the device util is again mobile, we have to give it more space than all of others. So it is going to take a bit of more space than all of other three columns. Otherwise, it will remain one same as in the desktop. So we will see that in the mobile design in a minute. So first of all, in the column, we have a title as status. Then in the body or as a child, we have a drop down. For the drop down, using T-rounded container to add a design, we have padding, background color. Background color will get from the order status, helper function. Then as a child, we have the drop down button. This is its design. The value is currently static value, order status dot pending. But because we have the order received at the top, so that's why we can display the actual order status. Order dot status value will be order status, and also for the text color, we will pass the actual status. Then on change is currently not doing anything. For all the items, we have order status dot values dot map so that we can get all the order status. In the enums, we have pending processing, shipped, delivered, and cancelled. You can change these values as well. So we have to map them one by one using drop down menu item. This is the value. Then in the text, we're going to display the name as capitalized. So this is how we're going to deal with the first section, which is the order information section, which is inside the widgets. Then for the order items, to display all the list of items, again we pass the order over here, and we have to call the order dot items dot fold, which is going to sum all of the items, start from the 0.0 because it is a decimal or a floating point or the double value. it is going to start with the 0. Previous value is currently 0. Then element means previous value plus element price multiplied by element quantity. So we have to loop through all of them one by one for all of the items, and the sum will be stored inside the subtotal. So again, we have the T-rounded container, column, title, then list dot separated to display all the items. So these are the properties. We have order items dot length, item builder. This is going to build one item at a time. So order dot item. Currently we do not have anything inside the order items, so that's why we might not be able to see anything. So to design it, we have a row, then we have the expanded, because inside that row we do not have only one thing. If you see the design, this is actually a row. So first of all, we have image of that item, then name of that item, and if that item has a variation, then down below we're going to display the variation detail. And on the right side, because this is a complete row, so this one is a first box, and then on the right side we have the actual price, the quantity is 3, and then the total multiplied with the quantity is 90, right? So first one is row, then we have expanded and a row again. Expanded is to take more space. You can see this title and shirt is taking all the available space and giving them the only space they required. So that's why we have expanded. Then in the row, first one is image and then some space. Then in the expanded, again we have a column. This is going to display the item title, and if the selected variation is not null, then we're going to display the variation as well. Key will be, let's say, color, and the value is maybe color brown. Because it is a list of entries, so we have a variation of type color brown, size small, so something like that will be displayed as a subtitle only if it is available. After that, we have some space, and then the size box with a width of this much. T sizes.xl is 32. This means multiply by 2 is 64 is the width. Then as a child, we have a text, item price, to string as fixed means decimal should not exceed 1. So let's say we have a value of 27.5. It is not going to display 27.59123 or whatever. So the second size box is again have a specific width, but in the mobile device it is going to take this much of width, and in the tablet and desktop it is going to take the double space as it is. Then the third one is same for the total amount, and after that, once that row or the list is completed, is going to print out all the items with the image, with the title, with the pricing, etc. And then once this section is completed, we have to create this gray section, and in that we have subtotal, discount, shipping, and tax. All of them are in a row. First thing or the first text on the left side, and the pricing is on the right side, then divider, and then the same thing for the total. So we have a T-rounded container. We just change the background color to primary background color to add a different color than white. And then in the column, we have a row. First text is subtotal, price is subtotal. And what we have done for this row is to add the main axis alignment as space between. So these are the text themes, then some space, discount, shipping, tax. Current discount is static. Shipping is calculated from T pricing calculator dot calculate shipping cost. These are the helper methods, but currently we are not passing actual shipping and actual tax. So this pricing calculator is for the calculate total price, calculate shipping cost, calculate tax. So based on them, we are calculating these things. You can use that class as well if you want. Then we have a divider to add some space at the top and bottom. And after that, we have a total pricing calculator dot calculate total price. We just have to pass the subtotal, and it is going to calculate tax rate and tax amount with the shipping cost. And at the end, it is going to calculate the total price. So these are again the dummy values for the tax and shipping. You have to modify them as per your own likings. After order items, let's talk about the order transaction. It is again currently working on the dummy data. So you have a T-rounded container. In the column, we have heading as a transactions. Then in a row, if you see this, we have a heading. Then again, we have a row with the three values. First one is again expanded with the row. And if it is a mobile device, it is going to take the double space. Otherwise, it is going to take the same space for the tablet and desktop. In the row, we have first one is the image. Then in the expanded, we have payment via PayPal or whatever the payment method of this order. Then in the text, we have order payment dot capitalize. Let's say if it is PayPal, fee is this much. Whatever the fee has been detected, you have to display it over here. Then for the second row value, we have expanded again. Then in the column, we have title as date. and the value is April 21, 2025. You can give it any value, it is dummy value. Then for the last, we have a total price that is being paid, order amount dot total. By this way, we are done with the left section. Now we just have to create the right section with the customer heading. So first one is heading, then row, then heading, then free text, and then heading again, shipping and billing. So let's go to the customer info. Also, we have a class order customer. It is a stateless widget. We have to pass the order again. And in the column, first thing is personal information. It has its own rounded container. And in the column, we have the title, customer, some space. And in the row, we have first one is image of that user. Currently it's static. Then some space. And then in the expanded, we have text and name and email of that customer. After that, for the second section, we have contact information, size box with the complete width to take all the width available. Then the T-rounded container, again, contact person is the title, some space, and you can see the title has different theme than the text. So it has its name, email, and phone number. After that, we have some space and again a size box with a T-rounded container. Title is shipping address. So this is its name where we are going to ship, and this is the address where we have to ship, and the last one is for the billing. So if we have the same shipping address as the billing address, then we will simply copy and paste. If we have different values, we are going to definitely display the different values in each box, and by this way we are done with our design. So let's refresh it. Okay, we have all the orders. Let's click on one of them, and you can see currently, because we do not have any items are empty. So first of all, order information, date, item 0, status is processing. We can view all the things, but we cannot change it. Total is this much. Items are empty, so we cannot see the items. You can see shipping is fixed, so that's why we have $5. Tax is 0 and total is 5. For the shipping only, payment via PayPal fee is this much, and then we have all the information of our contact person. So this is how we are going to create our order detail screen. So that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you learned something new. If you learned something new, please like the video, and if you have any questions, you can ask me down below in the comments. And also you can download the complete code, link is in the description, and also both e-commerce app and the admin panel playlist are also available in the description. Once again, thank you for watching and take care.